Okay. PP Season 14 it is. Let's talk about the changes Riot is doing on mage items. And let's make it very fast, very quick, very simple. So, overall changes. Mage items will do more damage again. And they are slightly more expensive. So basically, I think it's a good change. So basically what they're doing is, for example, damage items and mages. They are finally true damage items on mages, and they do not have defensive stats anymore on it, like they used to have, or used to be, or still have in Season 13 on live server. Basically, like Shadowflame, for example, has 200 health on live server, and on PP for Season 14, the health stat is gone. Instead, it does more damage now, which is fantastic, because Shadowflame is supposed to be a damage item, and I don't know who came up with the idea to give damage items for mages defensive stats, just so they can lower the damage stats again, but whoever came up with that was, yeah, it's just a stupid idea, okay? And now I'm really glad that somebody at Riot, or that Riot in general, changed their mind, and they think differently now about it, and they actually give mages real damage items. And so as you can see now, Shadow Flame, for example, even though it's a little bit more expensive, like 200 more gold, it gives you a lot more damage. It gives you more, like 20 ability power more. The magic penetration now is like 12 minimum. And it gives you a passive that increases your damage by quite a bit. And so this Shadow Flame version is... it's giving you a lot more damage than the current one. And obviously a lot of other items also give you more damage. For example, Lich Bane got buffed damage-wise. Rabadons gives you a little bit more damage. Also a little bit more expensive, but overall the items do give you a little bit more damage in general. And what I also like is that they actually buffed some defensive items. Like, it's not really a buff, but what they did is they made the defensive items more expensive. And basically now, if you are full build and you have a lot of defensive items paired up with Rabadons, it doesn't make you feel that bad anymore, because you're not gonna end your build with 500 AP only. You actually can reach now 700 AP as well, and so your 6 item power spike, even when you have like defensive items in terms of damage output, is greater than what it used to be in Season 13. And that's why, of course, it also costs more, but it's overall it is better to do it that way than what we had in Season 13. And especially in Season 13, whenever you got fat, in my opinion, it was like legit too easy to get 6 items. And very often, you were full build in Season 13, and then what? And then he said, well, this is all I can do. I can't get any more items, I can't get any more AP, this is it. If this doesn't work, then I will just lose the game. And that very often happened, especially when you went defensive items. So, that said, they removed Ludens, they removed Crown, they removed Everfrost, I don't really mind it. And they added a bunch of new items, like this one, this one, this one, this one. These are the 4 new items. And so this and this are basically replacing Ludens, Everfrost, and Liandris as your starter item, because these are like the only items that give you mana. Now obviously you could say this also gives you mana, but for like Ahri, these 2 items are the to-go items. Like you probably go this one or this one as your starter item on Ahri. And I would say this one is completely superior right now compared to this one, because this one gives you 40 ability haste for your ultimate. Only 20 for your normal abilities, but 40 for ultimate. And this one only 20, and so you're already like, because Ahri is a ultra reliant champion, you already prefer this one probably over this one. Also, I do think that the passive, or like, yeah, the passive of this item is a little bit better for Ahri, because you can re-enable it like 3 times on enemy, and so you do a lot of damage. While this passive is more like mini Luden's passive, And I would say champions that can spawn their abilities can abuse this passive more, and Ahri is just not really one of the champions that can properly spam this passive. Because every few seconds, in theory, you could use the passive again for extra additional damage. And Ahri's abilities do not have that low cooldown. So, yeah, just saying that. So that's why I think this one is just straight up battle. At least on PPE right now, it 100% is. And so they added another new item. This is the same as Shadow Flame. It is basically a full damage glass can item. I really like it because now when you wanna build Shadow Flame, you have another item that is in team with Shadow Flame and basically helps you in what you wanted to achieve with Shadow Flame in the first part. Basically killing enemies. And so this item is a new item, and new items in general are overtuned, and so obviously this one is completely overtuned because this is like old Gunblade. Passive is literally the same stats old Gunblade gave. So basically 250 bonus damage when you're like level 18. And then another 40% of your AP added onto the 250 flat damage. Which means when you are like 500, 600 AP, you push this damage to like 500. And you can't miss the passive. All you have to do is to like burst 35% of a champion's health in 2.5 seconds, which is pretty easy. So a lot of damage, and clearly reminds me of old Gunblade. And for sure overpowered, but even when they nerf it, it is very good that we have an item like this, which is very similar to this one. And so if you have these two items in your inventory, even though when this item turns out to be balanced compared to the rest, having these two items will almost always guarantee you that you are able to like one-shot squishies at least when you are ahead. And that's something Season 13 in my opinion lacked, and it's something that I never understood for the past 3 years, that I wasn't allowed to like one-shot anymore because it made no sense. But it seems like Riot has finally changed their view about what mages should be, and they finally give us back some options where we can actually just straight up kill the enemy when we are ahead, with not being forced at the same time to completely outplay them, land every single ability, every single moment at like 6 items and whatever, you know. And so obviously I appreciate the change. And now I'm gonna show you the power. Just like the main reason why I expect it to be nerfed anyways, basically. So this is a full build right now. I have no Gathering Storm, I have no A-Ball Collector. I could do that now, but let's just don't stack the runes. So this is an 80 carry right now, 2600 health, 50 ML, basically. So that's probably like what a 80 carry has as his base stats if he doesn't have any defensive item. And so let's see how much damage I will do to this target while only pressing 1 dash, 1 W, and 1 art attack to proc the Lich Bane. Okay? I hope you guys are ready. Okay, so yeah, I basically one-shotted him. Kind of funny. And that's basically why I say this item is overtuned, because it just is. But I would say even if they nerf it, for example, let's say they remove 200 damage of its passive, they increase the gold by like 200 gold, even then, you have a much higher chance now to just one-shot your enemy target if he doesn't go any ML, which I think is fair. I think you should be able to one-shot enemies if you are full build. Especially if you go glass cannon, and that's basically the biggest difference. Like now, I don't have any HP. Even in Season 13, I had some health stat that I just gained out of no reason. And because I gained the health stat, I got my damage lowered also for no reason. And for Mage, it just doesn't, like, it's just not good. Like, Mages always used to be very squishy in the past. And the reason why they were super squishy is because they were very mobile. They had a lot of control. Like, they had the best kit to play in a game, right? Like, they could deal with a lot of problems that other champs can't really do in, like, pretty much every situation, because they have CC, they have mobility, they have poke, they have long range, they can engage, they can disengage. And so they were very squishy, but then at some point along the time, Riot said, well, I don't know, they said, well, mages shouldn't one-shot, assassins should do it, and then mages got health, and then every mage player complained more or less, because why would you give me health if I can like dash around the enemy damage, right, and avoid being one-shotted that way and one-shot myself. And so it kind of got out of hand, I would say. I mean, I kind of understand the point, but in my opinion, it just didn't work out. And I think finally Riot admitted it as well, and they allow us, if we are fed at least, to go into a more riskier option, which is now a true glass cannon damage build with no defense whatsoever. And obviously it's like high risk, high reward. Because now I will get blown up. Like, look at this, I have 2100 health. Like, in late game, like, probably if Xayah, for example, is full build, okay? And she does like one art attack into a Q, into a E, she probably just almost one-shots me. If I only have 2100 health and she is full build. Because that's just how it goes. And so yeah, obviously more riskier, but I take that, right? I think everybody is more happy with these changes. I am.
Too late for mercy, murking opponents who wanted to verse me. Falling like I'm Curry Karama, comma the verse queen. We lining up the hearses for the whole team. KDA made a case, I'm the GOAT it seems. You're still here, orb of destruction, make it crystal clear that I can outfox any op that's near. Got a stack for this cast like a cup that's here.